Good morning, friends. Welcome to another Word of God. It's the OBEJournal 2025. This morning, continuing on a certain theme, going to interact with Sidney Gottlieb, the spirit of Sidney Gottlieb. And he seems to be close by. I do not have to seek him out. Is that correct, Mr. Gottlieb? Yes, I've been waiting for you. I thought I would come to you rather than have you invade my privacy. I see. You had anticipated my arrival, had you? Yes, the word has gotten out that you would be sniffing around looking for revelations. I see. Well, I'm not sure if I'm looking for revelations as much as having you give us your point of view now that you have had time to accommodate yourself to the realities of the world you're now living in, and time to contemplate the activities of your life as Sidney Gottlieb, which, I know is quite a tangled tale. I dare say you've been reading some of those scurrilous tomes that attempt to pin my character to a wall where other characters are pinned, like the Museum of History, as if we were part of the Museum of History. Well, Mr. Gottlieb, that's a strong image, I agree, but you are part of the history, especially the social and cultural history of America in the post-war period. It cannot be spoken of without reference to you and your colleagues. I will not be accusing you of anything that you have not already answered to, but let's face it, some of your interviews with investigative bodies and lawyers have been, more than evasive. I was protecting my country and protecting the sovereignty of it in the world and the deserved privacy of my colleagues, some of whom are still unnamed. And how do you enjoy the company of those colleagues, Mr. Gottlieb? Now, we gather together and celebrate our triumph in keeping America free from malign influence, or as free as we could manage. I see. Do you look at the world now and worry about the sovereignty and the stability of America? Yes, we do. We see the great turmoil of the present time to be something we can only hope that the representatives of our industry are doing their jobs well. We see the aggressors and infiltrators still not just banging on the door, but sneaking in the back door. Sneaking in all kinds of ways, in electronic ways that were not possible when I was a young man. Yes, Mr. Gottlieb, I can see that the methods that they use now, electronic interference, digital skullduggery, are far beyond the methods you used. Well, intelligence and spycraft will always find ways around defense mechanisms and deception. That is our trade. If one avenue closes up or becomes useless, others will pop up, and we can see that they have. Unfortunately, both sides, or if you like, all sides, have access to those avenues. Is there, Mr. Gottlieb, an intelligence community in the spirit world? It would seem that almost everybody here is intelligent. They can, well, as you know, often read one's thoughts behind and beneath what one actually says or does. So that to that degree, intelligence is omnipresent here. We cannot escape its effects. However cleverly we try to do so. Most of us have given up. I certainly have. There is nothing to be gained. I focus on spirituality, as perhaps you've guessed if you've done your research. Yes, I have. And I wonder if your, how shall I say, long flirtation with Buddhism has given you a perspective of your many past lives. Yes, that I couldn't avoid. I was experiencing that while still on earth. As you probably know, daily meditation can lead to that kind of knowledge. Yes, and I would. Living the quiet life in the country and practicing the arts of self-sufficiency as well as nutrition would combine with the often daily meditations to build my inner strength and understanding while chipping away at the very elaborate defense mechanisms I had built up in the first part of my life. Defense mechanisms going right back to my childhood. When one has disabilities, even minor ones like I had, one has defense mechanisms. One uses them to avoid mockery, for one. But yes, the tenets and practices of Buddhism have been a great help to the me that I gradually discovered was significantly more complex than the outer face I gave to whatever world I was in. The activities of my intelligence connections, or the more straightforward, perhaps more obvious activities of my later life when I retired to the rural existence that I'm sure you have read of. I sense that you want to speak of guilt and absolution. Well, it took a long while, but I absolved myself of guilt. I made a point of apologizing, or how shall I say, seeking out and apologizing to those I had harmed, which, as you know, was quite a list. Some of them came to me seeking, well, a contact that would place their resentment and anger into a back seat so that they could continue their own growth. Enemies, that wonderful category of humanity that I struggled against. Enemies and how shall I say, enemies and one's activities against them loaded me up with significant amounts of karma. And I did go through long stretches of guilt for what I had done and denied. Denied for a very good reason, I might add. Yes, Mr. Gottlieb, I believe I understand where you're coming from on this. You were born into a world of chaos and belligerence and nastiness. And the people of my generation, significantly younger, of course, perhaps do not appreciate the depths of that dark world. I belong to that generation that opposed war and competitive capitalism and what it led to. And yet, when I look at what I see or what I can read of your life, you seem in the latter half to have been, something of a hippie yourself. Yes, I wanted to understand that whole movement. And I believe I did. I made many more efforts in that direction than any of my colleagues who kept to their besooted lives, I got rid of the suit. I moved on. Many others didn't. And they're still here in their ties and jackets when the mood takes them. I see. Are you something of a pariah to their group consciousness? I always was on the outside. Look how they left my name on forms while redacting many others. I was left holding the bag. To a large degree. And I would not continue the activity myself. I would not shine the spotlight on others unless absolutely cornered into doing so. Those who investigated me had a searing sense of righteousness, which perhaps equaled my own. I do see righteousness as a great trap in the development of one's character, in the development of one's soul. And we all had it. Me and the other operatives and the, shall I say, chiefs, and those who opposed us, either legally, morally, or politically. We all were obsessed with the rightness and righteousness of our position. We all wanted our way to persevere. And I gave that up eventually. I clung onto it for some time, but realized it was only bringing me grief in the long run. A grief that I could well do without in this world, in this paradise of possibilities. Do you see that righteousness still active in our world now? Oh yes, of course I do, as I'm sure you do yourself. Is there an end to this my way is better than yours? No, I don't see it. And I wish you well. I wish you all well in your struggles with it, knowing, of course, that you're all coming here. At some point or another, you will arrive in some shelf of paradise and make your home there. And you will have to entertain the misdeeds of your existence and celebrate the sacredness of your strivings to be a better human. Yes, Mr. Gottlieb, I do appreciate where you're coming from and the fact that you have come here to inspire me this way. I thought I was going to have to seek you out as I've done some others, but no, you are right here. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you. I do not pass judgment on your generation's activities. I believe I understand them. I am possessed with curiosity and a desire to have all of you or some of you speak your current truth. I believe that is important. I'm sure there are those who might be watching this or thinking of you and hoping that you are being punished or punishing yourself. And perhaps you did earlier, but you seem to have accepted yourself and now love yourself. And I thank you for that. And I wish you well. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Sidney Gottlieb. God bless.